The coup begins with the secret unilateral appropriation of epistemic rights, which lays the illegitimate foundation for all that follows. What are epistemic rights? During most of the modern age, citizens of democratic societies have regarded personal experience as inseparable from the individual, inalienable. It follows that the right to know about one's own personal experience has been considered an elemental right, bonded to each of us like a shadow. We each decide if and how our experience is shared, with whom, and for what purpose. Writing in 1967, the US Supreme Court Justice William O. Douglas argued that according to America's Bill of Rights, quote, the individual should have the freedom to select for himself, the time and circumstances when he will share his secrets with others and decide the extent of that sharing. All right, so this freedom to select is the elemental epistemic right to know ourselves. This right is the cause from which all privacy flows. For example, Amazon. Amazon has recently boasted in a press release that its facial recognition system can now, it gleefully announced, can now recognize fear in our faces. And now fear joins about 8 other emotions that its facial recognition system can recognize. Okay, as the natural bearer of elemental epistemic rights, I do not grant Amazon's facial recognition system the right to know and exploit my fear for targeting and behavioral predictions that benefit others' commercial aims. It's not simply that my feelings are not for sale. It's that my feelings are unsaleable because they are inalienable. Nevertheless, though I do not grant Amazon knowledge of my fear, they take that knowledge from me anyway. Surveillance capitalism begins with this secret unilateral extraction, behavioral data drawn from private human experience. But as the Amazon example suggests, only a fraction of what they take from us is what we knowingly give. Their operations are geared toward harvesting behavioral signals with surprising predictive power, the stoop of your shoulders, whether you use exclamation points, your micro expressions. Most of these exist outside of our awareness and therefore beyond our choice to give or conceal, which again, this is why it's called surveillance capitalism. Google founder Larry Page ruminated on this breakthrough in 2001, explaining that the firm's business was not actually search. When asked if Google had a category, he replied, quote, if Google had a category, it would be personal information. People will generate enormous amounts of data. Everything you have ever heard or seen or experienced will become searchable. Personal information is the stolen treasure, and surveillance is the getaway car. The entire economic edifice is built on this bed of sand. These behavioral data flows are then piped through complex supply chains to computational factories called artificial intelligence, where they are analyzed and manufactured into predictions of human behavior. Facebook's AI hub, we have learned from leaked documents, is described as ingesting trillions of data points every day and producing 6 million behavioral predictions every second. Ultimately, these predictions are sold to business customers in markets that trade in these human futures. These markets began with targeted online advertising, but now comprise many forms of exchange far from those roots. Surveillance economics were invented at Google, migrated to Facebook, became essential to the growth of the other giants, and then the default economic paradigm of the tech sector. But these days, there is hardly any industry that is exempt. Surveillance economics travel through the normal economy in sectors like education, health, insurance, real estate, retail, finance, every product that begins with the word smart, every service that begins with the word personalized.